English 101. All right, guys. So we've had midterm week. This week, you should have your midterm grades, I believe, by Tuesday. Just a real quick word on midterm grades. Everything this semester was included in your midterm grade except for SA2. SA2 was handed in so shortly ago. So it was handed in Friday. There's no way I can grade everyone's essays by the time I have to get my midterm grades scored. So everything up to SA2 was graded. So even so, all four of the first essays, all of the pre-writing and things for SA2, everything except for the essay itself is included in the midterm grade. Again, with your midterm grade, it used to be a bigger deal than it is now. Nowadays, we can always check up to see how we're doing in the class because Blackboard constantly updates. So as soon as I grade something, you'll know where you stand in the class. Typically, midterm grades are most of the time used by your advisor just to see where you stand in the class, to see if you can move on to the next one. And then also sometimes your benefactors or your maybe parents or people who if you're getting a scholarship or something like that, a lot of times they will look at that. But other than that, it really, those midterm grades, they don't stay with you the rest of your life. It's just a little, hey, this is where you happen to be right now at midterm. So again, those grades should be out this week. This week, we are headed into SA3. So everything gets a little harder now that we're on the second half of the semester. SA3 is basically it's an analysis essay. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you, and we will take a look at the assignment sheet itself. Right now, we are in week, let's see here, week number 9. So if you take a look in the syllabus, you're going to see all that cool stuff that we're going to be doing this week. However, many of you will probably still need to take a look at what we had last week. After you handed in your SA2, you were supposed to read the assignment sheet for SA3, and I gave you the 2 new summary or the 2 readings for summaries. You're also going to use one of the 2 of these readings in your SA3. So SA3 is a lot like SA2, but the focus changes. I expect you to be a little bit more sophisticated in how you react to the whichever article that you're going to react to. It won't be your own personal opinion anymore. It's going to be your appraisal of the author's argument. So what choices did the author make in the argument? And did these choices make the argument more believable for the intended audience, or was it less believable? So you've got to try to figure this out and basically make a case as far as this goes. So the 2 readings are 2 ways a woman can get hurt and why bother. Both of them are in the textbook. If you need help, just take a look at the beginning of the textbook. In the table of contents, you can find both of those in the textbook, and you will need to read those for your 2 summaries, and you're going to need to choose one of those readings for the essay. Now, SA3, we're starting officially this week, and you're going to need to have it done in 3 weeks. So you have 3 total weeks from today. If you're watching this on Monday, I assume you're watching it on Monday. You have 3 weeks to complete SA3. SA3 will be challenging, okay? SA3 is not an essay that you can just throw together. It requires a lot of thought, and you're going to need to be able to apply some of the things that I'm going to ask you to read, some of the things I'm going to ask you to watch as far as the videos. You're going to need to apply some of the concepts to your writing. So this is not just essay that you can throw together. Really, at the end of the day, when we get to college level writing, it's more than just, can you write an introduction, a thesis statement, some paragraphs, and a conclusion. That's what we're leaving behind. We still incorporate that in all of our work, but the big thing now is, can you really think critically and convey those thoughts through the written word? So in order to do that, there's a few things we're going to have to do. One, go ahead and take a look at chapter 9 in the inquiry textbook. Chapter 9, it's not a short chapter, but it is important that you read it so you understand some of the concepts when it comes to how an argument should be made, okay? The second half of this semester is going to be all about argumentation, how we can make decisions to make a better argument. Okay, so basically read that and think about the readings that you're reading. What decisions did these authors make in their attempts to make their argument more believable? And were those decisions good decisions? Were those decisions likely, do they likely lead their intended readers to believe the argument in the essay or the article? So it's up to you to decide. And chapter 9 goes over Aristotle's 3 appeals. It goes over logical fallacies. These are all things we need to look for in our own arguments, but also other people's arguments. In essay 3, we're not making our own argument. We're looking at someone else's argument and we're dissecting that. We're basically analyzing that. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. But just as a quick thing, this week, you should really get deep into your essay pretty quickly. The first half of the semester, we were learning the basic steps of the writing process. Okay, the invention activities, brainstorming, clustering, free writing. We were learning about audience awareness and how that works, outlining and all those things. That was a lot of the stuff we were actually just really trying to learn in the first part of the semester. As of now, we've done it twice, and I expect that you've got the hang of it. So you're going to need to get all the way to the outline stage in week 1. Now, you notice I don't say complete the outline. I say begin work on the outline for essay 3. And so you'll need to you need to do your brainstorming, clustering, or free writing, whichever you prefer. Do your audience awareness paragraph. Make sure you're watching the videos. I'm going to show you here in a minute where those videos are, but make sure you're watching the videos to help you along. And then you're going to need to start constructing this outline. In week 2, you should have the outline done. And at the end of week 2 is peer review. So while I say we have 3 weeks to complete this essay, in reality, you have about 2 weeks. So this means you need to work very hard. Okay, you need to work very hard, and you need to not wait till the last minute to get this stuff started. You need to start early and work on this often to get the kind of quality that you're going to look for, because it's this essay that we're going to be doing. It is a little bit more challenging. Okay, so having said that, this is the list of things to do. There's nothing you have to hand in this week, but you're going to be doing a lot this week. It's still a heavy work week. All the weeks are going to be pretty heavy work. I'm sorry, guys. The second half is always the hardest work week. So let's take a quick look at our Blackboard page. I'm going to show you a few things. So we're in the essay 3 project materials folder. So go ahead and I'm just going to click into that. The essay 3 lectures are here. And this week, I'd like you to watch all of the lectures. So you're going to see essay 1 primer. This is where I explain the essay. I give you some examples. I talk a little bit more about it. Then I guide you through the invention activities and the audience awareness paragraph. I guide you through that. And then, of course, the thesis statement as well. And then, you know what? Here's the outline. I'm just going to move that to where it's a little bit easier for you to find. I also have the essay 3 outline. Now, you're also going to see these 3 older videos. These are much older. I think I did them in 2016. It's back before my beard was really grown in very well. I call it my baby beard in these videos. But it's in each one of these, I cover one of Aristotle's 3 appeals. Now, that's stuff you're going to learn in the reading for this week. But if you are still a little confused, or if you just like to watch the videos to fill out your understanding, I've got those here. I do really recommend that you do both. And I do expect that you understand the basics of this stuff, okay? So you're really going to need to understand the basics of essentially Aristotle's 3 appeals and how they play into our thinking process, and especially the process of rhetoric, the process of making an argument believable for your intended audience. So again, we've got a lot of videos. There's, I would say you've got like 10, 20, 30, maybe 30, 40 minutes, at least 40 minutes of me that you need to watch this week, in addition to the 3 appeals, which that's about, I would say that's about 20, 25 minutes right there. So there's a lot of video that you'll need to watch this week. And then there's a lot of reading that you're going to need to watch this week. Again, understanding how arguments should work is essential for understanding how to make this argument, or this essay, I should say, work. But now that I've said all that, let's actually take a look at the assignment sheet and let's get a good idea of what I'm asking you to do in this assignment. The nice thing is I also give you an example of another student who got an A on this, and so you can model your essay after that. But let's take a look. It says the rhetorical analysis assignment sheet. There's the assignment sheet. And we're going to take a quick look. So in this essay, we're back to how many numbers, we're numbering our words. So 750 to 1,000 words. And again, guys, it's Times New Roman 12-point font, 2.0 spacing. I've already done this for you. If you go back to the essay one folder, there is a document in there. It's the template. You can just use that. I already formatted a Word document for you. And I saw many people had problems with that. There's really no excuse to have a problem with that right now. Again, because I did that for you and we did cover it in week 1. So if you have major formatting issues, it can really work to your detriment. And technically, if you take a look at the assignment sheet here, failure to meet these requirements will result in the automatic failing grade for this assignment. So, it is something that we really do try to work hard to make sure we have the formatting correct. I have been very forgiving thus far, but at this point, we should all be very familiar with what's expected. So, okay, so let's just take a quick look at this. The goal of this assignment is to demonstrate your ability to critically analyze the rhetorical decisions made by an author. Now, whenever I say rhetorical, basically what that means, anytime we're talking about rhetoric, we're talking about the use of language, specifically in this class, but the use of communication to convey an idea, especially an argument about an idea. That's what we're talking about. So when we say rhetorical decisions, it means the decisions that the author made with regards to the argument that the author was trying to make. So how is this author trying to prove the argument? First of all, what is the argument the author is trying to prove? And then once I know that, I can say, okay, well, how does the author go about doing this? What are the decisions the author made? What did the author choose to bring up? What did the author choose to not bring up? What evidence did the author give? Why do I think this evidence was given as opposed to some other kind of evidence? We're thinking, really, a lot of thinking is going on here, and we're thinking about what the author was trying to accomplish and whether or not the author really did a good job in accomplishing it. And it all comes down to understanding the audience. The audience is the whole goal here. And the whole goal of any kind of an argument is to convince the audience of the argument. So you have to think about all of these things in play. Again, I cover that in the lectures that are in the Essay 3 folder. So it says, to begin this assignment, you will choose an essay from the required reading list. So that's one of the 2 readings that you're going to summarize. And you're going to write a thesis-driven essay that analyzes the choices that the author made in supporting his or her thesis. First, you must write an introduction that will grab the attention of the reader. This will introduce the topic of the essay that you're analyzing, and you will name the author and the article and the essay by name. So you have to make it clear what you're writing about. And in this case, it's the argument that the author made in the article. You will provide a synopsis of the article / essay in your introduction. So you can do that. It says, remember to be thorough and provide proper MLA citation when needed. Okay. In your introduction, you will write a thesis statement that declares your overall opinion on the essay / article that you're analyzing. Each of the following body paragraphs should respond to a point made by the author or break down an aspect of the essay or article that you're analyzing. Essentially, we're looking for critical thought here. For instance, you may have one paragraph dedicated to a specific example or illustration that the author used to prove his or her thesis. Another paragraph might discuss how the author used stylistic choices to connect with his or her audience. It is up to you to identify specific aspects of this article that you believe are noteworthy enough to discuss in your essay. Now, this is where it's similar to Essay 2. You have to think about the things that the author said, and you have to be familiar with the article enough to do that. And then, okay, I'm going to comment on this. I'm going to dedicate a paragraph to this particular argument or this particular piece of evidence that the author brought forth. Students desiring a high grade will most likely choose to have more than 3 body paragraphs. Remember that you are not only you're not only responding to the essay's content, but you're analyzing the choices that the author made to accomplish his or her goals. And then, of course, your conclusion will summarize the main points and remind the audience of the validity of your thesis statement. So again, just kind of a wrap up. And again, take a look at those readings about introductions and conclusions that we used in essay 2 to remind you how to do some of that. Here's some questions to get you started. Now, these are not questions that I expect you, it's not like question answer time in your essay, but if you can answer these questions, you'll have a good idea of how to get started in your essay. Okay, so you really got to use your brain on this one, really got to think this one through. So that is the assignment sheet. And then if we go back to the essay 3 project materials folder, you can scroll down, and I've also given you the essay 3 works cited entries. Of course, you still have to do the works cited just like in essay 2. So here's the 2 works cited entries. You're not going to use both of them because you're only analyzing one of the 2 of them. So just copy and paste that into your document, and that should be at the end where the works cited entries go. And then you're going to have, I give you in this, and I really expect you to use it. I give you example essay materials. Do not, seriously, do not ignore this. This is something you want to look at today. Look at this. First of all, read the instructions and then take a look at this, because this will tell you what I'm looking for. So you'll see here, there's 2 links. One of the links leads to an article, and I would recommend reading the article. It's not very long, but you just read this article, and then you can go back and read the essay that I had a previous student write. It was an A paper. Just read that essay, and you can see how this student approached the exact same assignment that you're approaching. Okay, it says a critique of why legalizing organ sales. Basically, it gives the title of the author, or not author, but the title of the article, and then it says a critique of. That's the title of this particular student's essay. And you've got an introduction, you've got all the things that I'm looking for. Notice all the different citations, because you want to point to things that the author said or did specifically in the article, and then comment on it. Okay, I'm going to leave this to you to read, and I expect this. I really, really highly expect you to model your essay after this particular essay. I believe this essay was a little bit on the long side, as I recall. I think this has about 1,200 words. And you only have to go to 1,000. That's your maximum. So 750 to 1,000 is all you need to do on your essay. This particular student wrote a little bit longer of an essay. I think it was back whenever I required a little bit longer essay. So maybe you got lucky on that. But basically, read this. This is an A paper. This is essentially the kind of writing that I'm asking you to do. Anytime the teacher gives you an example, you want to take full advantage of that. And so definitely take a look at this example so that you know what you're supposed to be doing for this essay. And let's see here. I'm going to go back to the essay 3 folder. But basically, you've got lectures of me explaining everything. You're going to do your reading in the textbook that explains, and if you look at chapter 9, it explains how rhetoric works, how the argumentation process works, how the 3 appeals work, all that. You've also got, of course, you can look at my videos to reinforce that. And then I've also given you the citations. You don't even have to figure out how to do the MLA citations. I've given you the citations for your works cited page. All you have to do is figure out how to do in-text citations. And if you already read the things you're supposed to read this semester, you know how to do that. Okay. If you haven't read those things, go back and read those things. I also gave you on the last essay, I gave you a video, some real basics on quotation and paraphrasing. And then, of course, you can also take a look at the writer's handbook. That should help you if you have any questions as far as in-text citations. So you've got a lot of stuff to help you through this essay. And the reason I give you so much help is because this is not an essay that you can just throw together. You actually have to give it some time to think. You have to really think it through and try to dissect what is the author trying to do with this article. Okay, what argument is this author trying to make? who does the author think he or she is writing to? Okay, so what assumptions does the author make about the audience? And then how did the author attempt to convince that audience of his or her argument? Okay, so there's a lot of things in here that's not just straightforward. You really have to think. But hundreds and millions of people who have gone through Comp 1 before you have done this, okay? So it's very, very doable. I know you can all do it. Just got to work really hard and put your mind to it. Okay, so having said that, that is what we're looking for this week. Just as a quick review. This week, there's nothing that you'll hand in. This week, you really should be getting a good start on your essay, though. Make sure to read Chapter 9 in your textbook. Make sure to watch all the videos in the Essay 3 folder. And then you should be to the point, by the end of this week, you should be working on the outline for Essay 3. Okay, guys, so that is what we're working on for this week. If you have questions, of course, Monday, I am in the office during the Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'm always in the virtual office. You can go to the faculty tab, and there's a Zoom link there. You can just go there. Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 8 a.m. I'm always in that virtual office room during the 8 a.m. hour. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm usually in my virtual office during the 2 p.m. hour. However, sometimes I do get drawn away because of meetings and whatnot. So always email me just to make sure on those days. But Monday, in addition to the 8 a.m. hour, I'm pretty much in that virtual office all day long. So go ahead and log in. Please be patient if you don't automatically get let into the room. Sometimes I'm with another student and I'll have to keep you in the waiting room. And then whenever I'm done with that student, then I'll let you in. So just be patient. Guys, thanks so much. I hope you have a great week. And if you have questions, let me know. Keep working hard.